Yeah, so the second topic is basically quite related to the first. The instrumentation is the same, just that there is no pigment. So it was first described by Maclean in 1986 to treat recurrent corneal erosion syndrome. So the original instrument described was a 20 gauge needle used to puncture perpendicular into the cornea through the epithelium and the Bowman's layer deep into the anterior half. But the needle was quite big bore, so they ended up with certain perforations. So now the current recommendation is either you use a 25 or a 27 or a 30 gauge needle and target reaching 5 to 10% of the anterior stroma. And maybe you need around 15 to 25 punctures around 0.5 to 1 millimeter apart. So you can divide the cornea into 4 quadrants and place the punctures accordingly to bend it into a Z shape for easier access. So the indications are not much, only two. One is the symptomatic bullous keratopathy and the second one is the recurrent corneal erosion. Here there are certain caveats. The bullous keratopathy is only that in which you are not planning any additional intervention. Either the prognosis is poor or the patient is not willing to undergo any transplantation. And it is better to avoid the central 3 millimeters of the visual axis, just in case if anything is planned or the patient does agree at a later date, the scarring doesn't involve the visual axis. If you come to recurrent corneal erosion syndrome, again the caveat is still the same. If the recurrent corneal erosion is in the central visual axis, this is not a recommended treatment modality. You can try instead debriding the epithelium and doing a diamond burr polish. But currently that is the gold standard, and stromal puncture for recurrent corneal erosion is not much into vogue as of now. So again, pre-op investigations is a good anterior segment photograph and an anterior segment OCT. Rule out thinning, rule out any active keratitis. Mostly you can do it topically or rarely subtenons if the patient is very uncooperative. There are reports rather from India as well as in the textbooks that you place the patient's head on the slit lamp and do it. But I feel it to be a slightly fearsome procedure because they see the needle coming there near their cornea, and some of them have fainted on the slit lamp table. So best performed in the OR that is what I do. It prevents basically the syncopal fall and further injury. The sterility is also more in the operating room rather than in the OPD, at least in our country. And if it is extremely hypertrophied epithelium, it's better to remove the epithelium first, see the corneal thickness, and then adjust the depth of your anterior stromal puncture, because sometimes the puncture gets only in the hypertrophied epithelium rather in the stroma. So you get fooled. So here again, you see this end stage bullous keratopathy in which the patient is not willing to undergo any further procedure. So there is loose epithelium which I'm quite hypertrophied, which I'm removing. There is a focal scar which I'm avoiding, the one at the 12 o'clock, the head end position. But you remove the rest of the loose epithelium. There is some oozing from the limbal capillary vessels, so just take care of that by a adrenaline soaked sponge. So now the view of the cornea is more clear once you have removed the epithelium. Now you can get a true depth assessment and your anterior stromal puncture will be quite accurate, so to say. So again, just achieve the hemostasis. Here I'm doing the anterior stromal puncture with the tattoo gun, which I showed earlier. If you don't have access to it, not a worry, you can use the cystitome needle. It's the same thing, slightly slower. So you achieve a lot of punctures with this. So they have described 15-20, but you can easily achieve whatever number you wish to. The more the punctures, basically, the more scarring you achieve in the anterior stromal layer, which binds the epithelium tightly, and then the recurrent epithelial breakdown and bullae don't occur. So at the end, you conclude the case by giving a bandage contact lens. So again, the post-operative care is simple, just topical steroids, broad spectrum antibiotics, lubricants. A short course of hypertonic saline is beneficial as well. Never forget to remove the BCL, it's a source of infection. Thank you so much.